Hey everybody, Barry here again. In the last couple of videos, I primed and painted Desperado, got the back bumper and all that sorted out. Now it's time to make it shiny. If we look at the hood, for whatever reason, it went really orange peely, so I've got a lot of sanding to do. And that's perfectly fine. I'm a beginner. This is my first ever painting project, and you're gonna have flaws. That's just part of the game. I was talking to my boss, Craig, and he's been at this stuff quite a bit. He painted his own car before and buffed and cut and polished and all that, and he gave me a few pointers. He said pick a spot that's inconspicuous, that way if you mess it up, well, it's not that big of a deal. So anyway, I did the tailgate. I wet sanded it out to 1500 and then I cut and polished it. And while it's not perfect, man, it looks really good. Look at the reflections in this thing. Yes, obviously I have dents, I have ripples, I have poor bodywork, but I built this truck myself and I'm really proud of it, so that doesn't matter. Look at the reflection in that. I'm really happy with that. I just finished buffing this and polishing it, so you can see there's still a nice bit of polish there if you look at like the greasy track left behind. So I am going to get some, I don't know, soap and water or something to wash this with later, and I think it'll look even better. But that was just a test and it worked well enough. Now we're on to the real stuff. And today I'm going to be focusing on the hood on its own, because I mean, how long would the video be if I had to do this to the entire truck? But I think this would be the biggest transformation. Like, to go from this to this, I think will mean a lot. And for sandpaper, I'll be using 1200, 1500, and 2000. The reason I'm going to 2000 is because the hood is essentially the centerpiece of the entire truck. When you walk up to it, that's the first big flat surface you see. And I think I'd like to have that as shiny as possible. First step is obviously to sand it out. So I've got my bucket of water here. And this is 1200 grit paper. I do have a block right there. I don't know why I threw it in the water. Just made sense at the time. And I'm going to sand that out until there's none of this orange peel left. So I will do a section first, just so we can do sort of a clear line between the difference of orange peel and what's sanded. Of course, it's going to lose the gloss, but we'll be able to see the difference in how smooth it is. I also have this bottle. This is just some regular dish detergent, and I'm just going to wet down the surface and start sanding. It kind of goes against every fiber of my being to come here and just attack this clear coat with sandpaper, but it's going to make a big difference when it's done. So we're getting some of that, looks like clear coat, the white dusty looking stuff in there, so that means we are sanding the clear. I watched a video by Bondo Billy, which is a guy a bunch of you guys suggested I watch, and he said to make sure not to put too much water down, because the sandpaper will kind of hydroplane on top of it and it just won't sand anything. And he said if you see this white, like dusty looking stuff, then that's actually the clear coat. But not having enough is going to plug the sandpaper up, so there's kind of like a sort of a fine balance. I'm just going to focus on this one area. I don't really know if I'm supposed to be going in two different directions or not, but I just like to anyway, just to change it up a little bit. So let's see how this looks. A bunch of people also suggested I get a squeegee. I don't have one, and none of the Carquest stores nearby have one, so I am just using a Bondo spreader, which is actually working really well. So if we look down here, we've got the orange peel, and we get to my sanding, and it's actually starting to come out like a lot better. You can see that there's a lot more flat segments now than there is, like the real shiny bits are still low spots in the clear. So obviously all my orange peel is not completely sanded out yet. And actually you can see it really well here, where it's all sort of clumped a lot tighter together. And then when we get up to where I've got it sanded almost in a line here, it's a lot less and it's more scattered now. And there's a couple spots where there's very little orange peel at all. So I'm gonna go and do the entire hood like this now. We've seen it, we've done it. I don't think there's a need for me to do all of this in real time. And if I run into any issues or any bad spots or anything, I'll check in there. But already this feels way smoother than this does. So it's a big improvement already. So I got a tip yesterday from Matt. He said, get some tape and tape off the body line about even like a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch up into the body line so I don't accidentally file off the corner. And I think that's gonna help a lot. My sanding is coming along well enough. You can see that it's definitely not as pronounced as it used to be. And like you can see, all these little speckles right here are a lot further apart than this. I'm not there yet, but it's getting a lot closer, and even like right down here, it's looking a lot better right there. It's almost flat in a couple spots. So I just need to do little spots at a time now. I've got the bulk of it sort of sanded. Now I should focus on some smaller areas and stay away from areas that don't need to be sanded anymore. This is going to be a long process. This is the worst panel on the entire truck, so I figured I'd do this one because it's going to take the longest and it'll be the biggest transformation. More sanding. All right, I had to step it up a notch or down a notch, depending on how you look at it. I'm going down to 1000 grit. It's still wet paper, but 1200 is working extremely well. But it's taken forever, and I don't mind it taking forever, but if it doesn't need to, well, what am I wasting my time and my elbows for? So I'm going to start at this now, get this paper in, soak, make it nice and soft so there's no scratchy edges or anything, and continue on. It's looking really, really nice. It's really getting there. I just want to get there a little bit faster. Oh, and in case anybody's wondering, I'm using a 5-inch block with a Scotch-Brite pad underneath it. So basically I'm doing this and just kind of wrapping it up like that. And that's how I'm sanding. It's actually been working really well. I didn't want to use the block on its own because it makes a lot of bite, but the sanding pad gives it some cushion. It's still flat, of course, but it gives it a little bit of cushion so it's not quite as abrasive on the edges. I was told it's a good idea to let the paper soak for a minute just to let it soften up. I don't know if that's anything that you guys do, but I'm learning, so I mean, this is free and I'm sure it can help, so that's just what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna try an area up here. I'm just gonna try this area right here. You can see how there's still a lot of orange peel there. So just give it a little bit of a spray. Now, do this one hand and not mess it up. I don't want to wrap it up too tight, but ooh, you can hear it. That even sounds better. You can hear when I go over the tape. So that means it's not hitting the edge of the paint or the clear coat or whatever, and therefore not damaging the edge of the clear coat. So we're definitely taking up clear. You can see that by the white chalky looking, or I guess I'll say powdery looking. And it's hard to tell, but I think it is knocking down that orange peel. I think it might be. Well, I'm gonna keep at it. I'm sure it's not gonna be a 5-minute deal or anything, but I'm gonna keep going until it's all smooth, and we'll check back when it's all smooth. It is 7:30 a.m. and I have to work at 9, so I've got a decent hour and a bit anyway to get this thing sanded out. Jeff helped me take the hood off yesterday and lay it on this table so I can walk around it 360. That'll make it a lot easier because I was having issues. I was having trouble getting over here, having to stand up on the lift legs and stuff, and plus I'm getting the truck in a huge mess, so that was unnecessary. So I think I might do like a 50-50. I'll cut and polish this side first just to get even, I don't know, for like a thumbnail or whatever, of the before and after of how good this looks. And I've got this side left mostly alone because I think I want to do that. I think it'd be kind of cool. It's getting really smooth, but I'm not quite there yet, so got some more sanding to do. I think I'm just about ready to polish, so I think I'll go and polish. Back here, I don't know if I'm into the paint or not, but we will find out. If I burn through the paint immediately, then I know there's no clear there. I know that's kind of a scary way to do it, but I'm going to try it anyway. So I've got the panel wiped down and I'm going to get some cutting compound on there. What I'm using for cutting compound is the Norton Extra Cut. It'll cut out 1,200 of finer scratches. I'm at 1,000 now, so this might be even just a complete waste of time, but at least I'll be able to see what I'm working with. Couldn't really figure a good place to put the camera, so I guess this will do. All right, see what happens. So I'll spread it out a little bit so I don't flick it everywhere and waste a bunch. Well, that already looks way better. Let's give it a polish. So here I've got a foam polishing pad and Presta Ultra Polish. This stuff comes out so fast. I'm still getting used to how much polish to use and what speeds to go at and stuff. So we'll get there. Well, that's a major difference already. Dude, look at that. Awesome. For a DIY job and somebody who has no idea what he's doing, that's actually pretty good. Look at that, man. And then come over here to the orange peel. Wow. Look at the reflection. Look at the reflection. Man, I'm perfectly happy with that. That is awesome. Like going from that, just the orange peel mess, to look at that. That is beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead and start sanding this side actually, because this is looking really nice and I'm really happy with it. The amount of difference between this is awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and start wet sanding this side so I can get it to as good as this is, and then I'll probably go ahead and sand it all out to 2000 and give it a buff and a polish again. I'm working in baby steps because I'm learning as I go and I don't want to mess it up. But so far, I'm really happy. I think I got to pretty much sand it out. I'm going to go ahead now and get it to like 1200 and then probably 1500 and then 2000. Just to get the scratches out. Oh, this has got like a sniper with this thing. And then I'm going to go cut and buff it. I'm not looking for perfection, just looking for reflection. I sanded it all out to 2000. This is not exciting stuff, man. This is just back and forth with 2000. Yeah, it's smoothish. I mean, yes, it is perfectly smooth. It feels like glass, but I know there are scratches in it. I know it's not perfect, but I'm just looking for a factory look. And if you've looked at any factory paint jobs, they're definitely not hand buffed. I'm gonna go fire up the polisher, get some buffing compound on that and see how it comes out. Hopefully I don't burn through. Wish me luck. Well, the cut is done. It's already looking a whole lot better. Look at the reflection of the flag over there in the back corner. Very nice. Time for a polish. Well, I've still got to give it a good clean, but man, the reflection is way better. Look at that. I'm really, really happy with how that looks actually. You can see it's still a little bit hazy looking because there's still polish on the hood, but 100% improvement. I just need to get some alcohol, isopropyl alcohol or whatever, and clean it up to get the haze from the polish off of it. But it's beautiful. Look at that. I didn't burn through anywhere. So that's always a big plus because I am 100% a novice at this. My first time doing anything like it. Definitely stoked. If you have any tips, tricks, comments, concerns, anything like that, please let me know because I really want to learn how to do this and how to get good at it so that I can make my truck look even better. The hood right now, as far as I'm concerned, is done because I want to move on to the rest of the truck. I'm just going to cut and polish the rest of the truck. I'm not going to bother sanding out the entire thing because the orange peel is really not that bad. And maybe it'll give it sort of like a factory look. And if there are any panels that are bad, I'll wet sand those. And who knows, it could snowball and I could end up doing the entire thing, but I'd prefer not to do that. I think the hood was a really good place to start to learn because I've got flat panels, I've got body lines and hard edges, and if I didn't burn through this, then I think I've got a good shot at doing the rest of the truck and not having any issues. But that might be a rookie mistake thinking that. So let me know what you think. And I'll have an update in a future video in the next couple of weeks or so when I get this entire thing buffed out, and we can all talk about it then. So thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks to my YouTube members, patrons, and subscribers. If you want to check out my Patreon, it's patreon.com/stationroadratrods. YouTube members link is down here. And thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody.